You know, I usually do not get nervous, but this to me is so special that I'm a little nervous, I have to admit. My name is Jonathan Schmidt. I'm the Vice President of Operations for Rothman, Florida. It's truly an honor to be here today. I think this is something that Rothman has believed in over the years, and I know that they've held some ceremonies up in the Philadelphia area, and I think that it was something that we really grabbed onto when it was brought to our attention. So I have gotten to know some of the individuals in this room today, and I will just say I don't know if I am the best person to be up here because there's just some amazing people in this room. But what I will say is that someone such as myself who has never served in the military, but my grandfather who passed away, this is making me think of my grandfather because my grandfather passed away last year and he was in his 90s and he served in World War II. And over the many years I was able to just hear stories from him, and the one thing that I know I just cannot relate to is somebody who has gone through the training and serving in the military. I just think that it takes an incredibly special person to do something like that. And then I think for those that have gone overseas in combat, it's not something that I can relate to, but boy, it makes me proud to be standing up here today to be able to speak to them. And I will say that for those that came in, and we've had people fly in from Philadelphia for this, and we had people come from all over Florida, we're really proud to be here today for Rothman Orthopaedics. And so if there's anybody that wants to be a part of this in the future, please let us know because I can easily commit to another one. I think that this is something that we want to do in our centers and honor those that have served and honor those that have been prisoners of war. So we have a program for you today. I think Patrick summed it up best where he said there's no wrong. So we're going to have some fun today, but we're also most importantly going to honor those that have been brought here today. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Marcy Hutchins. And Marcy is one of our wonderful team members who's agreed to help out with the ceremony.
Good morning. We will now have our presentation of the colors by the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 1048, New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
Honor, dead, good. F still, forward, park. Come right, park. Mark time, march. Column, halt. Right face. Present colors.
We will now have the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Tom Lynch.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We will now have the national anthem.
Pay tribute to our brothers and sisters who either were prisoners of war or are still missing. We pray for those men and women listed as missing in action. Give especially to their families and loved ones the assurance that none are even missing in thy sight, but held forever in the safety of thy love.
My name is Dr. Luke O. I'm an orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine specialist. As a first-generation immigrant from Korea, became a naturalized citizen of this great country. My family and I think, represent the American dream as we understand it. Who would have thought the son of an immigrant auto mechanic, would be the head team physician for the Orlando Magic and the medical director of orthopedic sports medicine, and to have an opportunity to work at a beautiful facility like this. So I'm honored and grateful to have been asked to participate here today. So, ladies and gentlemen, today Rothman Orthopaedics would like to recognize some of our veteran heroes who have fought for our freedom, and also remember those who lost their lives and those who became prisoners of war or missing in action. And I think for the families and for all of us who appreciate the cost of freedom and the way we live, both from a personal background from my own family and for the extended family of everyone here at Rothman and Advent Health, I wanted to just show that and extend that appreciation. At this time, would all veterans who are comfortable to do so, please stand or raise your hand. We all thank you for your service, and we would love to honor you and continue to honor you for your sacrifices and for your families. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Star, Vietnam POW. I really want you to listen to what I'm about to say, because if you just spend a minute thinking about the words and the thoughts behind what I'm about to say, it's quite amazing. And I just asked him, and he said, yes, it was quite the time. And I think that is probably the understatement of the year. Mike's F4C Phantom was shot down on December 2nd, 1966. He was held prisoner in the Hanoi Hilton until his release on February 18th, 1973. Just do the math on that, 1966 to 1973. For almost 7 years, this man took a beating every day for our freedoms. I just can't put into words the thought behind that and what you must have endured. And so for you to come here today, sir, it means a lot to us, so thank you. In addition to Colonel Lane, we'd also like to introduce the daughter of Colonel Oscar Mauterer from the United States Air Force, Pam Cain. Thank you, Pam, for being here today. Pam Cain is a Gold Star daughter whose father, Colonel Oscar Mauterer, U.S. Air Force, is still missing. Colonel Mauterer volunteered to serve during the Vietnam War and flew the A-1E from bases such as Bien Ho and Da Nang. He was shot down on a mission outside of Thailand and successfully bailed out of the aircraft. His chute was seen on the ground. He never entered the prison system or was ever returned. His name is on the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Wall, panel 5E, line 38. I really, when we were asked to do this, you really are proud to be asked, but I don't think you really think through everything until you hear some of the stories, and I hadn't heard the stories until today, and so for you guys to come here and be here today is really special to me, and I know to our organization, so thank you. So with that, I am going to turn it back over to Marcy, but again, we really appreciate your presence here. It's an honor.
We would like you to direct your attention to the chair dedicated to Colonel. Oscar Mauterer, U.S. Air Force, MIA, Laos. We're going to unveil this meaningful memorial.
We will unveil the meaningful memorial of the POW MIA National Chair of Honor.
Okay, we're ready.
With the chair stands a plaque that reads, "You are not forgotten." Since World War II, more than 81,000 U.S. service personnel are unaccounted for. This empty chair will serve as an instant reminder of all the sacrifices made for our country by those still missing, U.S. service personnel who have far too long been forgotten by all but their immediate families and close friends. America's veterans are the purchasers of peace, and every veteran has earned the right, the absolute right, to come home.
Fantastic. My name's Mike Lane. I was pretty much a brand new first lieutenant when I was shot down. Just turned 25. However, I was able to come home. Took a little time, but we came home. Today is not about me. I'm here. There are close to 1,800, where's Pam? Yeah, 1781? 15, close to 1,600 individuals that are still left unaccounted for. And we're trying to get those folks home now so we can bury them here in their homeland. Where they belong. There are a number of people today still, Pam being one of them, that suffers even today, 50 years since the war ended, that are still looking for closure. A couple quick instances. When I was shot down, I was listed as missing in action because no one saw our parachutes. So she lived not knowing for a little over 3 years before I was able to write a single line Christmas card home. So she found out that I was at least alive. That affected her greatly. It really messed her up for the rest of her life. Another quick instance, I was speaking a lot back in the 80s, and I was speaking to a group of high schoolers that were at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base about my internment and experiences. And sitting in the audience was this young man who was acting differently. A lot of people would be staring at the speaker, but after a while, you know, they drift off a little bit. They're still listening, but they're not engaging eye to eye. This kid was locked on me. After the speech was over, immediately he came right up to me and said, "Sir, my name is," I've long since forgotten his name. He says, "Do you know my dad?" I said, "What was his name?" And he gave me the gentleman's name, and I did not know him. He wasn't on our list. We had a list that we memorized daily of all the POWs that we had picked up names on so to that time. And when we got, I'm making a slight digression, when we got back to American authorities, they knew that everybody had a list. So we all gave them our list, which was not necessarily perfect. I mean, there were some that were missing. There were some that didn't exist. We had a list. And as it turned out, when everybody gave their list, everybody's name was on that list. Our goal was to make sure we left nobody behind. Back to this young man. I didn't know the boy's name, his father's name, and immediately his eyes went down and he walked away quickly. Obviously deeply disappointed that I didn't know his father's name. And I met with him a little bit later and I apologized to him. So, "I'm sorry, son, I didn't know your father. He wasn't one of the people that we had on our list." And he says, "That's okay, sir. I'll keep looking." That was 40 years ago. So there's a lot of people out there that are still looking. So when you walk by this chair that we dedicated today, remember the ones that are still looking. Thank you.
Ready?